Hello, my name is Krista Mahon. I'm an independent designer with Couture from Cincinnati, Ohio. Today we're going to be doing He Is Risen. It's an A-size transfer, and we're going to use a watercolor technique. So we will need some paint brushes and some of our color trays. Okay, so we're going to watercolor the bottom with these flowers. So it's going to be really cool. This is an old style box frame that I had in stock still, so I'm using this one. I'm waiting for my new 5x7 box frame from Chalk. They did come back in stock and I just ordered them, but they're not here yet. So we're going to use our old style box frame. The newer ones have a different color. Actually, I'll get you one just so you can see it. A different color stain on them. So here's the new version, not the 5x5. So the stain color is different. And this one, you can chalk the back. It wasn't really a finished back, but our new ones are double-sided and they're actually finished. So you can, there's like an offset and you can like actually hang them or sit them. So this is an older style. I love the new ones, but I had this one left over. So it's perfect to show you the watercolor technique, okay? So we're gonna get our transfer, and I already marked the back here. So the reason why we do this is so we can put it back in the packaging, because this is reusable. So we're gonna go ahead and mark the front of our transfer and the back. This is to help match it up after it dries. All our transfers are reusable 8 to 12 times. So it's going to fit perfect in there, and once it's dry, we'll put it back on the backer. So we're going to get our fuzzing cloth out, and the reason why we fuzz is to pick up a little bit of lint so it doesn't stick so well. I am going to use our surface wax on this. This is a brand new transfer. If it was used, I might not be so worried about it, but I just don't want it to get stuck to my surface. So I'm going to put a little bit of surface wax on a little cloth here. And then we're going to wax our board. It doesn't take much. This jar has lasted me quite some time. So we're just going to wax it just to be safe. Kind of just buff it in there. Can't even see it. It's just something, a little extra protection so our new transfer does not pull anything off of the painted part. And these are really sticky, the new ones. So. And we're just fuzzing it up to get a little bit of lint so it doesn't stick so well that it won't pull off. Okay. Got a little piece of wood on there. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. So I'm going to line it up on my mat here. And I'm just going to pull it in here. See if it's lined up. This is perfect for an Easter project. And when you push it down, you just want to make sure that there's no bubbles. Our detail tool, especially when you're working with a box frame, is very nice if you can't get your fingers down in there to peel it up. The detail tool has a little squeegee and then also a little pointed, and that's going to help us pick up the transfer. All right, I think we're ready. Let's get all the bubbles out. I picked Storm Gray for the words. It really pops on this lighter surface. I'm going to try to do the flowers in Shimmer Melon. I'm going to do the leaves in our new pistachio. Okay. And then when we watercolor, I'm going to watercolor with peony and sage. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. This right here is going to be a little bit difficult for this R since it overlaps a little bit. But I think we can make it with the little detail tool. I think I can get it, or the multi-tool. Okay, so we will use both of them. So we're going to get our paste, and I use these little stir sticks. They are Couture. They're 24 in a pack. The paste should be like consistency of yogurt. If it's a little dry, our new Creamy Dreamy formula shouldn't need much water, but our older formula could need a little spritz. So I use my spritzing bottle. I want to make sure it's creamy yogurt consistency. You'll tell the difference here when I open up the other ones, old versus new formula. And my Storm Gray is older, so. And these all go in the bath of water next to me and they get washed at the end, okay? So this is a newer color, just came out in the spring summer catalog. If you get a new jar, you're just gonna peel that back and push that back in the lid, okay? And you'll tell the difference here on the paste. So look, creamy, dreamy, brand new. Amazingness for sure. And this is a shimmer. So shimmer melon is a new one. And then here is pistachio. Nice and creamy as well, brand new. Oh yes, so amazing. Love it. Okay, so those are going to be our main colors. I'm hoping we might bring coral instead of peony. Coral might match this better, but we will see when it's on here and ready to go. I'm going to grab a mini squeegee, and like I said, we're going to have to be really careful on this R down here, which we'll use our detail tool for that. So I'm going to start from the top to the bottom and just go ahead and start with my gray. This is wood, so once the chalkable paste, even though it's washable, once it gets into the wood, it's pretty permanent at that point because it gets in the grain. Now, you can sand it, and so you would just sand it down and you could always repaint it. That's not a problem at all, but it is pretty permanent when it gets in the grain. So just smoothing out our lines. I'm going to be careful down here. I don't want to get the, I'm going to get the close as I can to the flower and the leaf, but try not to hit it. So I'm going to grab my detail tool, the littlest squeegee we have. I'm going to get a little bit of paste on that. I'm going to get as close as I can to this flower. It's not getting into it. I think we did pretty good there. Now I'm going to try my best with this one. I love how it overlaps, but it made it a little bit difficult if you wanted to do this in multiple colors. I'm just kind of like tapping it on there. It might go into the flower a tad bit, but shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to put that in the bath of water. I'm going to go ahead and peel this. Our new formulas do not dry as fast, but the older ones do. So I am just going to peel this real quick and we're just going to dry it. I am using my new quick dry tool. They are sold out as individual, but you can buy it in a chalk it up kit. So it's really nice. You don't have to use a blow dryer anymore. There's two settings, low and a high. So we're just going to use high. It's a lot quieter than the blow dryer if you guys watched my videos in the past. I love Storm on this board and base. Alright, so we're just going to push down what we still need to chalk. And we call that the peel and reveal method. I use that method a lot. Okay, so we're going to load up our mini squeegee with the shimmer melon. And we're just going to try to hit the flower portions of this. Definitely going to have to use my multi-tool. Multi-tool and detail tool are a must. Now I can go into this flower because my flowers are going to be the same color, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, so we'll go into the big flower. I'm just going to be careful around the leaf part. Obviously I want to get the actual flower, and then my leaves are going to be a different color, so I'm going to try to have a break line, if that makes sense. If they go into each other a little bit, it's not really going to matter much because the when we watercolor, it kind of goes together anyways. So just try to be careful on the stem part. Get this one. I started with my shimmers because they don't dry as quick either, because it's going to take a little bit of time. So I just wanted to make sure I get it all covered here. Those are all leaves, so I'm going to try to stay out of the leaf part as best as possible. I got it in a little bit, but that's okay. When you watercolor, it's not going to be the end of the world if it kind of runs over a little bit, okay? So we're just going, that's a flower, so we can hit that one at the same time as the other one. I'm going to hit that right there. Those are leaves, so I'm going to try to be careful. And we didn't push that storm gray part back down. We just laid it down, okay? So just barely getting any paste on here, guys, but I don't want to put too much on and then it run into our leaf. So just doing a tad bit. Like I said, if it hits the leaf, it's not going to be the end of the world. All right. One more up here. This is the flower. I'm going to try to be careful on my gray part and not push too hard. So if it did get in there a little bit, it's okay. All right, I think we're done with the melon. Wash that off. I'm going to get my pistachio. It's a really pretty green, guys. I do love the new paste colors. Pretty amazing. We have Shimmer Splash. We have Shimmer Melon. That's what we're using. We have pistachio. We have Golden Hour and Tulip. Oh, Tulip might be really pretty actually on this. Never thought about that. Maybe we'll grab that when we're ready for the watercolor part. I'm just trying to like get as best as I can without that one up there with the R is going to be very difficult. Probably switch to the detail tool when we get to that point. That's why I pulled the gray, because this is going to take a little bit of time, but that's okay. If you get some on there, don't worry, just wipe it off. Usually I can do like one swipe and hit the color, and it's not going to hurt you, but I always wipe it off before I start the next. Okay, so we're just going to try to hit this and not get into the gray. Might be easier said than done. Sorry if you see my head. And that storm should be dry, so I am touching it. I will check my squeegee though before, just to make sure. All right, I think we're good there. We might save that. If you don't have a detail tool or a squeegee or a multi-tool, highly recommend them. Everything can be found on my chalk site. It's my online store. It's in the comments of the video. So you can just visit that and get anything that I'm using on the chalk site. I'm going to just make sure I got everything covered. All right, so we are going to pull this transfer up and see what we got. Okay. Hopefully it's going to be beautiful. Oh, wow, look at that, guys. Love it. Now you could just leave it that way. Looks great. I love them two colors together. That's Shimmer Melon and Pistachio. But I'm going to show a different technique, which is called watercoloring. So we're going to wash this transfer. I just put it in the water and I just use my fingers to get the excess off. And then I use a little scrubby to scrub the transfer, okay? You can use a board eraser, but I have this little scrub brush. It's not abrasive at all. Kind of like a little pedicure scrub. The bristles aren't very abrasive, like I said. And then we dry sticky side up. That's another reason why we mark it with the Sharpie. So we can, that would be face down when you dry. So sticky side up when you dry. Okay. So if that Sharpie is facing you, just make sure you flip it at that time. Okay, so we're going to use the quick dry tool to dry this, and then we'll start our watercolor. Very pretty, guys. I didn't do too bad on the water, huh? Shimmers do take a little bit longer to dry, so we're just gonna make sure this is dry. I think I am going to change the tool up, guys. I think that would be really pretty color in here with the shimmer. I'll show you the tulip. It's a really pretty color. It's kind of like an orangey red. So here's tulip, here's coral, here's peony. So it's definitely a orangey, orange red, but I think that's going to look great on this. So to watercolor, you're going to get our little color trays out. And like I said, we're going to use sage for the green and we'll use tulip for the flower. Okay. So we just open up our paste, put this back in the lid. Okay. And then we're just going to take a little, it's not going to take much and our design is very small. So just going to take a little bit and put it in our color tray. Okay. It's not going to take much at all. Okay. So that's going to be fine. We're just going to fill in the flowers. So we'll just set that there. And then we'll do the same thing with sage. So just get a little bit on our stir stick here. And put it in our color tray. These color trays are amazing. Couture has them 24. That was way too much. 24 in a pack. And they're reusable because they're plastic. Okay. It doesn't take much to color watercolor. Okay. So all we do is take our misting bottle and we're just going to put some water on this and we're going to let that water down our paste. Okay. So we're going to grab our paintbrushes and we're just going to mix this up and make a watercolor. Okay. I think this is going to really go well with this pistachio and it's going to look a little bit different. So I think that's good. So you just want it to get like a watercolor. So we're going to set that aside. And then we're going to grab our next paintbrush for this. And this is tulip. I'd like a little bit more water in that one. I don't want to spray my project, sorry. Our misting bottle has 3 settings, a small, medium, and a large mist. Okay, so we're just going to paint with this. Okay, you just want to make sure that it's not too thick. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the colors, okay, of the orange. So we're just going to like kind of, and kind of the paste, actually, I did wax this, so I don't know how well, oh, it's going to work fine, so we're just going to color this in, and then you don't have to like be too careful, with your lines, because I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to put the transfer back down. So that being said, it's going to make the, Maybe I shouldn't have waxed if I was going to color our watercolor. We don't have to worry about covering the lines up because we're going to put the transfer back down and we're going to actually re-chalk it. So you don't really have to worry about staying, I mean, you don't want to go out of the lines by no means, but you can, doesn't matter if you cover up, if that makes sense. Because we're going to chalk over top of it to, you can see the wax. Maybe I shouldn't have waxed this board, huh? Hopefully this works, guys. I didn't even think about it. I'm going to get, I might have to wipe off the wax, maybe. I'm just using my finger. I think we'll be all right. I didn't even think about it. Maybe. I think it'll be okay. So you're not going to be able to see this really right now, but when we put the transfer back on and re-chalk it, you're definitely going to be able to see the difference. Okay. I am going to take my little cloth now, because now that we waxed, this isn't working too well. But you can see that obviously when it's dry, it doesn't come off. So that's something good to think about, right? I'm just going to try to get our wax off here. All right, maybe that will work. So we'll see. Oh yeah, it's going on a little bit better. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and this method does not bother me at all, because when we go to put the transfer back down, you're not going to see where we're like overlapping on the lines, if that makes sense. So they're going to be, you're going to be able to tell. I'll just show you. It's easier to show than try to tell you. I didn't even think about waxing, guys, and trying to do this on top. That's all right. We live and you learn, right? I think it'll still dry all right. So I am staying within my pattern, but I'm not really worried about, per se, the design, okay? And I'm not really a good painter, so if I can do this, anyone can do it, I promise you. Just kind of tapping it down because of the wax. I love doing this technique on canvases. So if you have a canvas, it does really well on canvas. I really do like it on the canvas. It kind of bleeds into itself because of the canvas. So it's kind of neat that it does that. I have to wipe this flower down too. It's coming slowly but surely. It's not a fast process, guys, so don't rush it. But I do think everyone should see it, that it's able to be done, and I do think that when this is finished, you'll see that the results are pretty amazing. Okay, I have to tap that one because of the wax. It doesn't take much at all of the watered down paste. Okay. We will make sure this is fully dry before we put the transfer back on there. I'm just going to hit them before I put my... And the color trays are reusable too, so you just put them right in the water and wash them with your other tools, okay? So just making sure everything's covered. Okay, so We'll start on our green now. I'll just leave that out in case we need it. I'm just putting my paintbrush, washing it in my water bath. Okay, so our next one is going to be this green, which we watered down sage. Make sure this isn't going to leak. This one's going on a little bit better. I love these colors together. They look really good. Like I said, I'm not worried about the lines. As close to my R as I can. Actually, I should have hit. I see one little spot that I don't know if it's supposed to be pink, but I got the shimmer melon on it, so I probably should just fill it in. So let me grab this again. Good thing I left that out, huh? Okay. Then we'll hit the green. It's like really cool because you don't have to really worry about messing up, if that makes sense. Which I do like that. I'm just going to continue my lines here and make them meet up because I was being awfully careful not to hit the other color. So once we have this dried, then what we will do is we will lay the transfer back down and we're going to re-chalk it, okay? And then that helps us to be able to see the bottom line. The bottom line's much better, okay? So we're just filling it in right now, and then we'll put the transfer back down and re-chalk it. And this does not take much paste at all. So just a little dab will do you. I'm going to go ahead and kind of fill that in with the green. Should have probably been another color, but that's okay. All right, guys. Now, I'm going to get our drying tool. And then we might have to dry our transfer a little tad bit. But we will definitely make sure it's dry. And then we'll re-chalk just the flower part. And then you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? So let's get our drying tool. I'm gonna make sure this is completely dry. I do love that tulip color. Very pretty. Get our pistachio and our shimmer melon back out. Just feeling it, make sure I don't feel any spots that are wet still. And when you use the dry tool or any type of drying, you just want to make sure you never chalk on a surface that's hot. So that's a rule. So we'll let that cool down a minute. I am going to, this is dry already, okay? We just washed it, but before we went to do our watercolor. So we're just going to fuzz it. Okay, and we're just going to put it back down. Be careful not to get it stuck to itself. I do that sometimes. All right, if I get the top lined up in the risen part, my bottom should be lined up perfect as well. But that's a perfect world, right? I think we're good, guys. So we're just going to push this back down. I don't really care about the he is risen. I mean, I do care he is risen, but I'm not going to worry about pushing that back down because all I'm worried about is the bottom. Okay. So this is why we're going to put it back on. So we're going to use our multi-tool again and our detail tool to re-chalk this. That one's in the water. Hold on 1 second. So I put all my tools in the water bath, and then when I'm ready to clean up for the day or the night, I wash all my tools at once. So, all right, so we're going to do Shimmer Melon again on top. So we're just going to hit this again. And I'm doing the shimmer first because it doesn't dry as quick. Okay. Like I said, if it goes in the green, it's not going to be the end of the world. I mean, I tried not to get crazy, but I'm just going to keep chalking, kind of tap our little area on this one to stay in shimmer so you don't have to be as careful over here. We're going to have to be careful over here again. Okay, now we're going to go back on top of this flower. We got everything covered. Maybe a tad bit more up here. I didn't hit that very good. Alrighty, so then we're going to use our pistachio again. So we're just gonna go back over all that. To get a little bit in there, so I'm just going to wipe it with my finger. Like I said, usually one swipe next to a color, it won't hurt you. But if you go do another swipe without checking your squeegee, that's when it'll get you. And we want to make sure there's no other color in there when we dip it back in the paste jar, because we definitely don't want the colors to mix and ruin our paste. Okay. I'm going to be very careful again on this R up here. I'm just going to tap some of the excess off. Might have hit the R again, but that's okay. I'm going to try to get as close as I can to the flowers without hitting them. I think we got everything. Maybe a little bit right there. And then we pull this off, you guys will see why I lay it back down, okay? I did get into the gray a little bit. I'm going to definitely wipe my hand off because I got green on them. I don't want my green to get everywhere. Okay, so we're going to pull this off and you will see why. So look at that, guys. So it makes the, oh wow, love it. So can you see? So even though it kind of went into the areas, when you put the transfer back on it, it doesn't matter if you covered up the lines because it makes the lines more prominent and you can kind of see it. So how pretty is that, guys? Shimmer Melon, Tulip, Pistachio, and Sage. Wow, I'm really liking that. So if you didn't want to put the transfer back down, you don't have to. But I think it does look better, and it covers up the lines. and then it doesn't really matter if your watercolor was completely perfect. So that's why I enjoy it. I am kind of a perfectionist with things, but I feel like when you put it back down and it covers up the water color marks, that's when it looks the best. So, and you might have to do it right away. You could do one and then do the next layer the next day. You don't have to do it back to back if you don't want to. So that's He Has Risen with watercolor technique, pistachio, shimmer melon, tulip, sage, and then our storm gray for He Has Risen. Okay. I thank you guys for joining me. If you want to hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to check out the chalk site, you can just click on the link below. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.